Hi, everybody. My name is Abdul Kazi. I have my partner in crime, Chris.
Hey, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. It's great to be here. Thank you for checking out our session here for this year's Festive Tech Calendar 2022. Hand it back to you, Abdul.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, nice Clippy, man. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a nice throwback this year. Microsoft with their craziness. I got to put in my plea. Please, please, please. They've done all these wonderful things. Minesweeper, Clippy, whatever else over the years, XP. Somebody, please create a blue screen one. That's my wish. It's like, please.
by the way, by the time I got to it, it was sold out. It got real fast. So I was not lucky to get it, but I wanted to get it this year. But I'm like, yeah. So
So let me know next year. I usually have pretty good luck with this stuff. Give me a call. I'll place an order for two. I got you covered.
nice, nice. So talking about Clippy, yeah. So the reason we're here today, we kind of share our experience with the community. As you folks might know, we started a new user group called Come Cloud with Us. And me and Chris were just talking about it. It's been only, I would say, less than almost 6 months or even less, right? Like we've done 7 sessions. Our first session was in June 2022, and then here we are at the end of the year. So I think we've done 7, 8 session, or one of our hit session I think was the Ignite one where we had the panel. Uh, so that caught a lot of interest for the people, and people are like, hey guys, how are you doing this? What's going on? So kind of share your secret sauce with us. So I'm like, okay, why not? So Chris and I are here to share what we've been up to and how we've been doing it, and kind of spill the beans. if you will.
Well, we have some secret sauce, and let's be honest. This stuff. It's like it's not rocket science. There's a lot of this stuff. A lot of the tools are new and functional, and just get you there quicker. But it's one of those. Honestly, we'll get to it, but it's how far do you want to take it? How far do you really want to get into this stuff too? We took some easy routes, some shortcuts here and there, but we'll go through that here in the session and kind of share our secrets, or at least some of them, not all of them. Can't share everything.
So I guess first thing first, right? Pick your name. So whatever you guys decide to do, pick your name. Is it either if it's for you individually or as a group? So for us, one of the biggest questions we get asked is, "Hey, is your meetup gonna be happening in person?" And the funny thing is, because I'm in Toronto, Chris is in New York, we're virtual. It's always gonna be virtual. Um, so that's the thing. A lot of people want to do physical, which is fine. So you can do in a place. One of the challenges we find with doing it in person is you limit yourself with the speakers. Because for us, the good thing is when we did the Ignite session, we had speakers across the globe. So we had people from US, from Scotland, from UK, and even other speakers have come from UK and other places. And we also want people to come from Australia and New Zealand and others, but depending on timing as well, right? So because of the time zones, that's a bit challenging, but that actually had worked pretty well. Unless you're living in a big city where you can find a lot of MVPs or speakers, that usually the challenge is, you're going to run into the same people or would be inviting the same people again and again. So one of the successes for us is has been due to being virtual, and we can invite whoever we want. In January, we're actually having 2 speakers, one from Nigeria and one from Pakistan. So think about that, right? Like if this was not virtual, we would not be able to have them, and they're fairly new speakers too. So you kind of have to think about, okay, what exactly are you trying to do? For us, it was mainly about the community as well, right? Like we're fairly seasoned speakers. We've done this for some time, and Chris, has mentored so many people that he's really a grandfather when it comes to mentoring. But it goes
You had to go there, didn't you? Really? I thought this was a friendly fireside chat for festive tech calendar. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding. But no, thank you. I mean, really, thank you. You're right. There's a lot of folks that I think we both kind of met through the community and stuff. And if I think what you're alluding to, a lot of this is really, I would say, like at least first tip that it's coming to my mind is I take for granted, and I think we both took for granted how powerful it is to just simply ask. Just ask somebody. There have been many times where like, oh man, there's I don't know how these people, there's this session that somebody put together. They have all these great speakers. They have all these big names. They have, you know what? Everybody's just got a name. It's not necessarily a big name, but we all have a name, and we just got to ask. Most of these people we found they're ready to willing to do it. They're ready to help. They're excited by it. They're happy to give back, just like we are. So yeah, it was huge. That kind of was a light bulb moment for me. So I'm sorry. I'm going to get a little teary eyed now, but.
No, actually, that exactly is a valid good point. A lot of people think, hey, how are you getting all these great speakers? And we're like, yeah, we were simply asking them, just reaching out. Sometimes it does take a couple of follow-ups with them because everybody's busy. But at the end of the day, most people want to come. They want to share with the community, and they're looking for avenues. And the good thing about it is this is virtual too. So they're like, we don't have to travel. We don't have to go anywhere, and go from there. Um, the other thing I want to mention is, you have to have a strategy of what your meetup is going to look like, right? Like for us, when we started, we're like, okay, what should we focus on? That's why we kept it generic because we wanted people to come from different avenues, if you will. So we didn't like when you talk about user groups, right? They're very specific. So you could find a Azure user group, you would find Office 365 or AWS or others. Ours is pretty much open, it's cloud. So anybody would be coming and presenting at our groups because we want people to come and join and feel like community. To be honest, and the way cloud is moving, I think it should be open that way, right? So have a good strategy and see where you want to go and where do you land. The other thing is let's talk about the tooling. You would need a couple of toolings as well. So first thing first, have a meetup. You would need some kind of meetup. So we're using the meetup.com for all of our RSVPs. So anytime we have a meetup, we basically go up there and do the RSVP there. Plus, your social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, what have you, have a YouTube account as well. So that's going to be done. Now, the tricky piece that really comes with that is how you're going to stream, right? Like people stream differently, everybody. And I've talked to a lot of people, and they're like, we're going to stream differently. Some people uh, say, okay, Microsoft Teams is fine. Some people say, hey, we can use other avenues like Zoom or it could be other tools. For us, it has been StreamYard, and really that has worked very, very well. And kudos to Chris because he pretty much figured everything out. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get this going. Um, so yeah, Chris, you want to talk about? I'll hand it over to you to talk about the StreamYard piece then.
Yeah. So thank you. Really, I mean, I figured it out, but it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, never done this before. Yeah, we'll just tool around with it, see what happens, whatever. Can't be that difficult because, man, I've used OBS, I've used a bunch of these other tools. I've been invited to a bunch of other speaking things. Usually it's here, click this link and go. So I'm like, man, if we can get that simplicity for our users, for this user group, number one, makes my job easy, makes both of our jobs easy as producers, as whatever else, to just kind of go and say, here, pop in, make sure you got your equipment ready to go, video camera, a mic, sound, whatever, and whatever you're sharing. Let's go, let's do this. And we wanted to keep it simple for us, for them, for everybody. So it is paid. We have to pay a little bit for it, but whatever. It's not terribly expensive. There's different pricing tiers, so that's really kind of helped get us over that hump. If you all don't mind, I can kind of walk through what it looks like for anybody who hasn't used StreamYard. Let's just kind of jump into it, and we'll do some live demoing. Once again, hopefully the demo gods are with us. But as you can see, typically we'll just hop in and say, here's our basically broadcast interface. We have a couple that are scheduled. So as Abdul mentioned, coming up December, or in January, I'm sorry, created in December, but in January, we will have a session that's coming up. And no, we don't want to see anything about the Pittsburgh Penguins, so sorry about that. But one of my favorite teams. Hey, it happens. Let's talk about how to create a new event. So there is a little bit of lead up work to some of this stuff. As you mentioned, social networks, different things that you set up. You can ingest those into our StreamYard environment. So let's take, for example, a new live stream. I have LinkedIn. We have LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter all set up. And I can show that behind the scenes in this destinations in a second. But we have the option of either studio. So studio meaning it's a live stream. It's going to go out. As soon as we hit a big red button that says go ahead and live stream this to everybody, it will go. And it will do its thing and just kind of throw us into this world of sharing with everybody. Again, sharing is caring, the name of the session. So I will select, like we normally do, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Just like that, I would give it a quick session name, like Cookies with Santa. Sounds appropriate. Maybe we can get him invited. I don't know. I haven't asked yet, but if we send the invite out, maybe he may not be busy just yet. A couple days, we'll see. Love to have a fireside chat with Santa. And we'll just say schedule for later. Now we get the mornings. LinkedIn's kind of working through some stuff. They basically say, hey, you can't start 15 minutes early. So they don't want if you're using any kind of video or just marketing stuff in the beginning, they will start right at the time that you schedule this. So just be forewarned. Twitter, some of these other things, Twitch, you can kind of play all these, ads leading up to marketing yourself or whatever for a certain amount of time before the session starts. But LinkedIn is, again, a little more businessy on that side, so it don't really like and allow the ads, but that's fine. Typically, we'll go and upload a thumbnail image. I'm going to skip that part, but just a little plug there. A lot of the stuff that we've been doing for this group it's all done through Canva. So Canva has been a huge tool for us to just kind of learn, toy around, create stuff. But yeah, any of the plugs that you see with, like our sessions, the details on it, whatever else, we'll upload that thumbnail image. The nice part is that will go out into each one of these environments. So it'll go right into Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, just as a placeholder until the session starts. When the session's done recording, it will also use that as the header for the image unless we go and change it. So I'm going to say probably tomorrow because, man, Santa's going to be busy like 24th, 25th, something like that. I know it's giving a little bit of a date away, but that's okay. Let's say 1 p.m. because hopefully he's not really busy then. He might just be waking up Eastern time, whatever. We can, if we want, customize for each destination. I usually blow through this, but if you wanted description, title, whatever else, based in LinkedIn, you could do different tags, different social network tags, different accounts, whatever. Same thing with Twitter. And then it just say create broadcast. And as soon as I do that, it will go and do its thing. We'll pull that back and I'll delete it later. But quickly, if I were to go into Enter Studio, I'm not going to start video for this or my audio, but this is what we as producers see. This is what our invitees see from an end user side or from a just an invitation side. And voila, we have basically a comments field that's open up. This is the producer side of what we're sharing out with you right now. We have the ability to add somebody into the stream or remove. We have different layouts, so maybe a more cropped layout, potentially a side-by-side news layout. So if I were sharing something else, can kind of toy around. It just switches around. But anyways, you get the idea from there. I do have the ability to mute, unmute, present different tools and things, maybe slides that I have on a machine. However, I would highly recommend. We did have a few users early on, the presenters that came into sessions and were presenting slides. It plays with formatting a little bit. So, pro tip, I would highly recommend you just do share screen, have the presenter set up PowerPoint, do full screen blow up like I'm doing here, and then just share that screen, that one screen out. So, invite link. This is a good one. Yeah, you can always, again, we're not live. See, it just says go live. I said it was a red button. I guess I lied. It's blue in this scenario. But this invite is a link that you would want to send off to your users. So you can email it quickly. You can send it off. Usually we'll use Twitter, socials, whatever, to just get that out to our folks, and our speakers, and other moderators. Usually Abdul and I will just share that link in advance, or we can get into the web interface before we start. But that said, once it's going live, these comments, they've been fantastic. This comments looks a little bit like, oh, kind of boring. It's not. It is pulling it from all of the destinations. So as comments come in from LinkedIn, from Twitter, from YouTube, whatever else, they will, like, we'll see those comments. There's certain ones that we can post to YouTube. It's a no-brainer, but we'll basically have that interaction, that engagement directly from this interface. So nice and easy. You can make it appear and disappear. Banners, we haven't used a lot. We've kind of toyed with some of these stuff, but again, it depends. We kind of kept it just light on that perspective. Branding, we can come in here, change your colors to whatever your brand is based on, come cloud with us. We have a couple, 3 or 4 blue gradients that we've piped in here. Again, coming from the marketing team, don't say it, Abdul. I know you want to. But themes, you can change them up. This is pretty standard for a lot of streamers. I just like the simplicity. It's kind of, a little bit of a gradient between blue and gray. Logos, standard fare. If you want to use it powered by StreamYard, again, we're at a level where we don't have that watermark on, but we can choose to if we wanted, or we could put our own on there or whatever else. It'll just show up on the top. A nice little subtle thing. Remove it. Overlays, again, we haven't done a whole heck of a lot, but if you had something designed, top, bottom, clickable links, all that stuff, good to go. Again, the simplicity, just making it appear, making it disappear, super simple. We can show and hide. Again, I was saying earlier, video clips, if there's any countdowns, any other, things that have been, I won't want to say automated, but animated from either Canva or whatever else, you can just add those clips and play them at will. You could loop. The background, as we have set here, thank you folks from Festive Tech Calendar, we switched that. But if we wanted, we could go back to our Come Cloud with Us plain background, switch back, we're golden, and then music. If we really wanted to put anybody on hold, daydreaming, any of this stuff, press play, go, have fun with it. But one of my favorite features, and we've had to use this a few times, because let's be honest, you're in live stream, things might just happen, right? And we say, well, maybe somebody's mic cuts out, something's going on, accidentally put themselves on mute. I do that all the time. I have a little sign behind me that reminds me every once in a while that I'm on mute. So it happens. We forget about these things. So nice part is I can have this chat, as opposed to the comments that's going out to everybody live. I can have this chat with everybody else who's in that studio. So if we have 2, 6, 8, 10 people, which, by the way, is the max, at least for us in StreamYard, we can have a chat behind the scenes. Say, hey, you're on mute. Hey, you forgot that you're not sharing your screen. Hey, whatever it might be. We need to wrap this up, which I think I get all the time. Abdul, thank you for that. But so hopefully this is kind of insightful. I'm going to go back. I just want to show the destinations. I talked about it. I want to make sure that people know how to really handle that. So before you set up any of those broadcasts, if you do have social networks that you want to stream out to, it's as simple as this. Just hit that add a destination button. You have your choice here of a bunch of Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or Hopin or any of this custom RTMP. So if you're using OBS, whatever else, you want to tie all those together, just click them and go. Each one of these is going to have a different kind of setup. I think that's pretty obvious, but just beware. You want to make sure you have your credentials, shared credentials, whatever else, multi-factor, any of that stuff in hand before you kind of jump through these. Get them all set up. And then once you're good to go, you can always come back and say, here's ones that I either want to use, want to reconnect. That happens from time to time. Password change or times out or expires or whatever. Or the platform changes. You might have to reconnect. I've had to do this with LinkedIn twice now. So it is what it is, but just calling that out. The nice part is if you ever do add a new one of these, you can always come back in your broadcasts if they're scheduled. And just say I want to add or edit it, go back into edit, and then just add another destination. Say Twitch, here it is, click save changes, and you're good. I'm going to pause here, and I think my one last comment is I said LinkedIn was a little funky about this. What we're going to do, we got to click out of this, and I'm going to say, no, sorry, Santa. I know you're kind of busy. He probably declined us, so we're going to pretend he did decline us. I'm going to say delete broadcast. I'm going to say delete on LinkedIn and delete on YouTube, right? Nothing's been created on Twitter yet, but I want to show you what happens. LinkedIn just is not going to play nice. It's going to tell us that it doesn't support deleting streams from StreamYard. So that is something you will have to go in. You're going to have to manually do that and clean that up. But I wanted to call that out. If anybody's using this platform or considering, it's a pretty good tip from that perspective. So just beware. There's a little bit cleanup. With that said, that's it from my demo, unless Abdul, you want me to cover anything else here?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, there are different plans, right? So I guess, can you talk about the plans?
Oh, yeah. Yes. So around the holidays, a lot of these companies like to give out deals and whatever else. But again, we are kind of looking at least in USD, US dollars, we're at this professional level, so around $39 a month. But you're getting all these crazy features here in the middle, plus all of this stuff here. So what's nice is we again kind of made this jump a few months ago. We did the Ignite session. We kind of demoed it as a 1080, like a full 1080 high def stream. We really liked it. It's incredible. They seem to be just spot on with that delivery. So that kind of sold us. The nice part is there's now, when you step up that professional stuff, you can get away with the free. Let me start there. You can get away with the free. You only have like a certain amount of participants. So you have 6 or so. We only have 2 administrators. So for us, that worked. But there were some things, like I said, the streaming limits. You can only do so much. The logo is kind of embedded into everything. So we almost immediately said, let's step into the basic. That gets us 10 participants if we needed. Gets us a bunch of different multi-stream locations. Just kind of helps us get over some of the hurdles. Limited streaming, recording, all that good stuff. But again, we made a push into that professional spot. There are others. I'll just hit this button and bring up like a premium, a growth in this business. Don't know what the business costs are, but again, if you're really looking out for thousands of viewers, you want to really change a game with how many people are in backstage. Maybe a real producer, not like this guy or the other guy across the pond that still really learning this stuff. And again, I think we're doing a pretty good job with it, but maybe if you really wanted to bring in a professional to help us out and just, a little bit hands off so we can focus on the sessions, the tech or whatever, consider stepping up to this. So, but yeah, any other thoughts from a plan perspective, Abdul.
No, I think you covered it very well, Chris. So,
Awesome.
and what I would say, I'll start small. That's what we did, right? So we started with actually, our first session was from a free one. You can even
Yep.
use free. Uh, you would have the StreamYard logo on there, which is fine. But because we wanted to do this on a monthly basis, we were like, it's better to invest in the basic plan, and then we wanted to bring panelists as well. So that's why we moved up to the basic and the professional. But by all means, if the free version works for you, then use that, right? Because obviously this is going to be a cost to you to that. So there's going to be some cost. So StreamYard is going to be one cost. Meetup is going to be another cost. Um, Now, if you're going to go in um, pull up your domain, right, for the actual meetup, that's going to be another cost. So there is going to be some cost included in the meetup, and depending on how you want to pay it, you can always find a sponsor. For me, looking for the challenge with the sponsor is if somebody comes in, then sometimes they kind of dictate and see okay, how they want to do things. So for us, the cost was really nominal. So like we'll plus we're doing this with the community, and it's a good learning experience. So
Yeah.
we're just sharing the cost from that aspect.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the only other thought too was if I didn't mention it, multicam. So multicam was something else too. So for folks that have like multiple cameras set up or whatever, I've got a few at different angles. One that kind of hovers over my desk if I want to demo something live. That's kind of a nice ad. So I'm excited. It's something coming in 2023. So
Nice.
all right. So we're gonna switch back from backstage mode to full producer mode. All right. Abdul, what's next? What else? What other beans can we spill here?
Yeah, so I think Chris talked about the marketing piece, right? That's really your appeal.
Oh, look at the time. I got to go.
I knew it. I knew it. Hey, folks, uh, Chris is really the amazing marketing person we have. Like he does all the marketing behind the scenes, working. As you mentioned, he works on the Canva and other things, and that's been amazing. Because you do need some marketing, right? Like, and as you say, marketing does sell, so you need to have nice logos and images and whatnot.
Hey, I've got a good program manager. What can I say? I mean, you make sure that we hit deadlines, that we're on time, always looking good, prim and proper. So, but yeah, I love it. Um, let's be honest. There have been many times. I think last night was one of those. Right? It was you kind of squeeze this stuff in. Let's be honest. It's we're working, we're doing other stuff or whatever. But it was probably 10:30 or so. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take my laptop upstairs. This is my like last hour and a half or whatever before I really crash. I'm gonna get some stuff done, and here we go. Design a couple things, fire back and forth, and we're probably doing our approval process at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night most nights. So back and forth. I don't know that there's ever been an early morning one, but you fit it in when you can, and it works, and it's been awesome. So
Yeah, and coming back to the community is phenomenal. So don't hold back. So if you think you're looking for speakers, just reach out to people. They're really generous. They'll come back to you. If they want, they'll actually recommend somebody. So we've had people. Reach out to people in Europe. They're like, yeah, our meetups are generally speaking 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's obviously midnight or even after midnight in Europe, right? So a lot of depending where you are in Europe, obviously, and some people's like, yeah, that's going to be too late for us. But here are the people that you are looking for, and there you go. So yeah, it's an amazing community. So and once you start knowing people, they'll be happy to come. And it's not like we were famous and people came. We asked people and they came, right? So that's the thing. That's the beauty of this community. People think, hey, you need to be really famous or you need to be doing extraordinary things then for the people to come and speak to your meetup. No, that's not the case. People are going to come, and then that's how you would be um, get your name out there. So don't think that you're not famous or you're starting up, nobody's going to come. people will show up because everybody wants to support community members. Anything to add on there,
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, I just in you bring up a really good point, and I could, me, I'm always a guy that's got a ton of words. I could solve or at least try and sum it up with one, and it's for me, it really hit home. It's like I really want to just create a legacy, just a legacy of some of this stuff. It's like we're we started the session kind of talking about like why did we really do this, and man, we met a bunch of times. We kind of brainstormed a bunch of different things and are like, what do we really like? We want to create something that's fun. We want to make sure that it's engaging for everybody. We want to make sure it was inclusive, that it was something that would thrive, that it would continue on for quite a while. But we didn't want to really lock ourselves either into something, but we also wanted to create something beneficial, and just bring everybody to the table. So at the end of the day, it's like, this whole come cloud with us idea was, well, we could cover anything. We could invite anyone. We could really just handle any kind of story, whether it's user story, migration story, just have a chat or fireside chat, cookies with Santa, whatever it might be. Seriously, that was kind of I don't know. I really don't even remember. I think it was just one of those late night, I always talk about like shower moments, light bulb moments, whatever, somewhere, somehow it just like, boom, it clicked. And we're like, that's it. I think that'll work. I think this will be great. And seriously, we've just had a great response so far. So we'll keep it going. We'll continue to have fun with it. I, for one, I've had a blast because I'm learning a ton of stuff that I just wouldn't have probably spent the time learning myself. But, I'm so focused on certain aspects of all these different platforms, but it's nice to know that, there are people just doing incredible work in each different one of these. I can see how it all integrates. We've had fun with questions too. That's the other part of it. Honestly, just kind of listening, watching, learning, and coming up with questions from, oh, well, we're both like architecturally minded people coming at it from I can see where that fits here, or maybe, did we think about this or whatever else. But I'm also excited to like see us branch out in 2023 and do some other different things. So wink, wink. Some things to be announced here in short order, but I'm excited, and I know everybody else will be too. So
Yeah, and just to add on that, right? Also, one of the things we want to do this is giving back to the community as well, because one of our goals is to invite young folks who are really coming in and who want to start
yes,
speaking, right? So I kind of mentioned that we have two speakers, and those are brand new speakers, one from Nigeria and Pakistan. They haven't really done a meetup before, so and there are other folks I'm reaching out to, and Chris as well, that we're bringing on, because that the community has to evolve, right, at some point. And then well, we've seen a lot of MVPs are being going to Microsoft now, so there might be some void created there. So we need to definitely
yeah,
fill that gap as well, right?
yep. Got to keep feeding the engine, right? That's what I usually equate that to. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. It's been awesome and it's been really humbling too to say. I remember a point in time where I was in front of a big group. It was my first time. I still get butterflies. Let's be honest. Every time I do this, every stinking time I walk over in front of this camera and lights and all this other action, it's like I still get butterflies, and that reminds me that I'm in the right spot. For me, it reminds me I'm in the right spot, and hopefully that resonates with other folks that are considering doing this the first time, doing whether it's streaming, speaking, whatever. It's like just share, get it out there, share with everybody else. You always have a different story, a different approach to everybody else. Tell it, please share it, create it, get it out there. So
Yeah, no, and with that said, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully, this was helpful. This was
wrap it
understanding.
up. I see what you did there. That nice touch. This
Um,
guy, I can't take him anywhere, but Just, one last thing, in case anybody didn't realize this, we have not met each other in person, so we got to do that. Hopefully, maybe in 2023. So maybe our little
Niagara
gift to
Falls.
each other here.
Let's have a meetup in Niagara Falls, right? That would be
I am
awesome.
totally game for that. No,
Summertime.
we are not taking the barrel over the falls. Okay, don't get that idea in your head. No, though maybe we could live stream it. Anything's
There's a
possible.
lot of live streaming. Come on, you need to be there.
The real question is where, because I always hear this whole thing where it's like, if you do that barrel thing, number one, they're going to arrest you, but where do they arrest us? It's like, do we get like reversal of fortune? I get arrested in Canada and you get arrested in the US. What happens there? I don't know.
I don't want to even say. Let's test it out.
All right. This has been awesome. Thank you. Hopefully you all found, at least one bit of advice, one tidbit out of this. We just had a blast with it. We continue to have a blast with this community and with these events. So thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Again, thank you, organizers, for the Festive Tech Calendar 2022. Your efforts should be applauded. You all rock. Thank you for continuing and growing this and making sure that it's a thriving community year after year. Also, our own little plug, please come find us, come cloud with us. We'd be happy to have you as a speaker. We'd be happy to have you as part of our community. And please just spread our love throughout the community too. So we appreciate you all. Happy holidays, happy new year. And we'll talk soon. Take care, everybody.
Take care.